All right, so we're here with Luke of Luke's Lab fame.
Whoa.
And in one of his most recent videos, actually your most recent one, right?
Sounds like something like that.
Talked about bringing a new printer to right here in Rocky Mountain. And you've got your stable bots.
Nope.
No?
Oh, it's not my stable bot.
No, it's not your stable bot. That's what I'm saying. You've got those, but this is something totally new, right?
This is entirely new. So this is something that we've been calling Project Redwood internally. I don't know what it'll go to market as, whether we just keep it as, you know, Redwood printer or something like that. Anyways, our stable bot line is really more an artisanal or bespoke unit where we build them to the customer for the exact customer's needs. So if they need a size this big by this big or this big by this big, we make them exactly the way they want them for the materials and processes they need. On the flip side though, there seems to be a lot of printers and a lot of opportunities for this size of printer, but it's missing one key thing, maybe two key things really, is high temperature capability. So this is Project Redwood. We're really targeting a 90C chamber along with a 120C bed and then a 500C nozzle so that you can print full size, maximum volume, 100% infill, ABS, ASA, or nylon prints to support either like.
Once again, this is your 3-minute warning for the 3D printed game show. If you head over to the maker stage, you have to register.
No, it is what it is.
It's going to be botched.
I'm keeping you from going over there and winning prizes at this point now, I'm sure.
I don't sign up for any of that.
is doing their giveaway in about 2 minutes, but you can register at their booth. If you're not registered, you need to be. So go over to the head of Moment booth, get registered.
Okay, I'll try to be fast then because we're about to. All right, so we're really targeting solid parts for fixturing, for drones, for anywhere in the world. So with that in mind, we're building in the USA with as much USA-made material and assembly as possible. So we're trying to keep everything here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Well, not here, but where we're from, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's IDEX capable, so you can get it with a single tool or IDEX. Triple Z leveling, clipper, and guess what? Easy service for you print farmers out there. You can touch all your surface right there.
No pulling it off the shelf, no flipping it over.
None of that nonsense. And we have no telemetry, no software monitoring, no lock-in. I don't want any of that. It is open source firmware, open source slicing. I don't want to know what you're printing. You don't want me to know. Nobody will know.
Yeah.
All right. And especially we have no Wi-Fi, no radio options as well. So there's zero radio waves coming out of it at all. So you can have perfectly secure communications if your facility needs.
Now, no Wi-Fi. Are you just turning the Wi-Fi off on a Raspberry Pi?
No chip. It'll get a PC with no Wi-Fi at all.
Okay. So kind of like a mini PC of some sort.
Yep. We already do that for some of our more sensitive customers.
Yeah. So now I was looking at this, and just quickly, I was looking at it from a distance. It looks like you got 2 pinion gears running off of your stepper motors, or it's just...
So one is an idler.
Okay.
It's entirely passive. So it's actually just used to save space and to save additional parts for your routing. So your belts are in the same spot. They go to the same location on each tensioner, but one is a pulley that's attached to the motor and one is an idler. This has been proved out on open source concepts like the K3 for quite some time.
Okay. So anything else? Obviously, building printers on YouTube, my audience very much gets into the weeds of that. Is there any into the weeds of the design of this you'd like to get into?
So this is a double Mark Forge style. So we have 2 Y-axes that only move the Y-axis.
Okay.
And then there's a motor per X. So each tool head moves only 1 motor in X, and then in Y it moves 4 motors in order to keep it in the same location or to move it only in Y. Other than that, each one of these is a sub-assembly that can be built completely separately and then only assembled to the side pieces when it's all put together.
Okay. Now, is this something that you'd have to order from you as a finished printer, or is this something somebody could order from you conceivably as a kit and build it themselves?
This is something that we will not be offering kits for. Okay. This is primarily intended for a Bamboo H2D Prusa Core 1 assembled experience where it arrives, you unbox it, you let it calibrate upgrade itself after shipping, and it's done. It's meant for print farming and even deployments overseas if you really need it.
Now, is there a possibility to get a bed that would turn up to a higher bed temp to allow you to print even more?
That is on our list of things that we have the technology for. We have experience with our custom printers. I'm not entirely sure what the market actually wants. One of the reasons why we have a survey actually here. I understand that for the audience out there, that it may not be useful, but that's something that we're gathering because we can do it. We have experience, and the beacon with our technology will work great anyways.
Yeah, because having some competitors in that market for printers capable of printing PEC, your higher aerospace materials would be nice.
It is our professional recommendation that you do not print PEC or PEC in a chamber below 200 degrees Celsius. So we're at 90.
This is not going to quite get there.
So we're not going to even consider that. Where the high temperature really comes into play is for like, I forget it. There's like 2 filaments that make sense to have a high temperature bed that don't require the extreme chamber temperature to match it.
Okay.
It's Ultem and PEC.
For the high bed but low chamber?
Yeah, for the coke bed stuff, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, it's not really recommended for much.
So you got anything else at the show you'd like to share with us?
We're pretty busy here. We do have Pikas in stock today.
Okay.
And we're shipping the the U1 Pikas as well for the Snapmaker U1. So that's really exciting for us. We have a prototype Pika in the Centauri Carbon, and that's pretty much it for cool stuff.
I saw the Centauri Carbon. There's an owner of a Centauri Carbon. That made me curious.
It's a Pika in there.
Okay.
So
I'm assuming those will be coming down the line then?
at some point. At some point. I'm not going to make any promises for them because we know we're behind, and I want to be able to catch up on what we currently have before really starting to go forward again. But the development for all of this stuff was all running in parallel for so long, which is like, all right, we're ready, and then we can go. So
awesome. Well, thank you very much, Luke, for taking the time to tell us a little bit about your machine.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing more development. I'm sure there will be more available on both your YouTube and your website. You guys have a blog over at
LukesLabOnline.com.
LukesLabOnline.com. Okay.
Yep.
My browser just knows your site, so I just got to start typing L and it takes me there.
Right there, yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.